Hello, and welcome to Rocket Fuel, your daily update for everything that's happening in the Rocket Fuel community. Today is December 12th. My name is Wack Attack, and I've got a busy episode that covers the whole of the weekend. So, one of the main things that happened is Joe shared this post. He says, I'll just leave this here. And it says, using a max fee of 15 Gwei and a priority fee of 2 Gwei, are you sure you want to begin bond reduction for one mini pool from 16 ETH to 8 ETH? Yes or no? And then he says, by the way, this is what deposits look like for Atlas. This is both 8 ETH and 16 ETH mini pools. So when you look at the deposits, it shows that there was 1 ETH coming in and then later 31 ETH coming in. So that's what it'll still look like. It'll still look the same. So let me see what the next post is. And here we have, oh, by the way, that chirping wasn't my smoke alarm. It was getting DMs on Discord. So yeah. Then it says, Joe says, all right, Wack Attack, it's time. And then there's a screenshot of the command line interface here, and it says checking for mini pool bonds to reduce. One mini pool are ready for bond reduction, reducing bond for mini pool, and then there's the address, and then reduce bond for mini pool, and then there's the address as well. So then Kane says Wack actually does rocket fuel, so he gets pinged directly for bread. And then the next command line interface update says address blah blah blah, penalty 0, status, and then it just shows you that this is a 16 ETH deposit, and then afterwards it breaks it down to an 8 ETH node deposit and a 16 ETH rocket pool deposit. And then it also says the node has 8 ETH in its credit balance, which can be used to make new mini pools. So the LEB conversion coding now in the Smartnode stack is complete. The contracts were obviously already complete because they've gone for auditing, but Joe's kind of like building the front end for those now, and that's done. So that's really exciting that that's happening. Of course, you won't be able to use this feature until withdrawals go live. Otherwise, you'll be losing a chunk of beacon chain rewards, but you'll be able to start new LEB8s with Atlas. Okay, so next we've got the chirping saga, which is the whole thing on Friday, which is really funny. So I'm going to give it a few minutes of coverage. That's not chirping from the fire alarm still. So Lee says, hey Wack Attack, there was no smoke detector chirping in episode 93, but there was chirping 20 seconds into episode 94, and then what's going on? So basically what I thought had happened was the battery had already expired, so the chirping had stopped, and then I was in the process of getting a new battery, which I hadn't done yet. But then I guess it came back to life somehow, so there was still a bit of chirp left in the old gal. So then Ludi says, Wack, you still haven't fixed your smoke alarm. And then Object says, get Wack to change his smoke detector battery by reacting here. And then there's a Discord link to the Rocket Fuel thread where people were talking about it, where Penvic was saying, hey Wack, I'm willing to come to your house and change the smoke detector batteries for you, just let me know. And Jackson says, how many battery emojis to get the battery changed, also when battery POAP. And Mav says, surely if we get 69 emojis he has to change it. And then there were 82 emojis that got battery emojis. So yeah, I said, okay, get 69 emojis and I'll change my batteries as soon as possible. And Object said, say no more. And Mav said, it's going to be tough though because the weekend is not in trading, so I'm not confident. And I said, even I gave it a battery emoji. So then after that, Fizz gets involved. Well, Grime makes this POAP for Fizz. It says smoke alarms save nodes, and then Rocket Pool crowdfunds a 9-volt battery for Wack Attack. And then there's a battery, and there's my picture over a guy changing a smoke alarm battery. So that went out. So then the POAP was created. And Fizz wrote the description. Wack has been doing incredible work for the Rocket Fuel community as he develops Rocket Fuel podcast, but he's been so busy that he hasn't been able to replace his battery in his smoke alarm. We watch the show in pure cringe as we know that the incessant beeping will never stop. Proceeds collected from this POAP won't really go towards getting a new batteries for a smoke alarm, but we'll act like they did go towards a new battery. The beeping is literally driving the Rocket Fuel community insane, with several members considering self-committing themselves for mental health evaluations based upon the incessant beeping. This POAP is designed by is another centerpiece designed by the talented RPL Grime. POAP development by Superfizz, distribution by Checkout by Mentor, who we all adore. So the POAP was created, and then Superfizz wrote a tweet about it. Maso wrote a tweet about it. Maso said, "Are there AA batteries? I'll bring you some next week because I'm seeing him on Sunday." Superfizz said, "What's awesome about the Rocket Pool community? What's awesome about Rocket Pool's trading community? That thing when you create a POAP to raise funds wait, let me just go to the tweet. That when you raise funds on checkout.poap.xyz to buy a battery for Wack Wack Attack's chirping smoke detector with art that only RPL Grime can produce. Join us." And then there's a link to the POAP, which you can see right here. Let's give it a second to load. Yeah, here it is, and you can see the picture bigger here as well. So that was nice. So then that went through the checkout process. 47 POAPs, but initially it was a distribution of 32 and they're all sold out. So then Fizz put 32 more for sale. The price of each POAP is 0.01 ETH, so it's like $1 or so. Yeah, like there's still some available. So come into trading and someone will share the link with you of how to mint one of those POAPs for around $1. Criminal Noodle says, "I have absolutely no idea how that didn't drive you mad." And it didn't drive me mad. I was able to kind of tune it out. And then Sleety came in with like his great work. And let me see if you guys can hear this. Oh wait, let me play the sound.
Annoying sound in the world. Hey, want to hear the most annoying sound in the world?
So it's a clip from Dumb and Dumber where like the chirp will make people go crazy. So yeah, that's nice. Thanks, Sleety. Object then shared a link saying only 6 POAPs left. You better act fast or you'll miss it. So people did miss it. So Fizz linked more. So yeah, go here and you can mint it as well. The link is still the same. I think there's like 15 left now. Let me have a look. I minted one for myself as well. So yeah, there's 14 of them are left. So I think they'll be gone quite quickly. So if you want to mint one, get that done ASAP. I said thanks for everyone who got the POAP for my battery fund. Thanks to Fizz for setting up the POAP and to RPL Grime for designing it. I'll replace the battery tomorrow, so you won't have to hear it on Monday. Now here we are on Monday, and there's no chirping sound, so it's good stuff. Okay, moving on from that now. I think. Sorry, on Mondays. So then I bought the batteries, and they're installed now. So yeah. So moving on, we've got Ken shared the link for the Daily Gwei today. Sasanos spent a big chunk of the episode talking about Rocket Pool, which was really cool. He talked about it in 2 different parts. Ken said Maverick Sasal had 2 good segments on Rocket Pool today. Hopefully he understands that one can only pull staked RPL off the node when it's over 150% collateral. Sounds like he's financing the RPL difference he needs for the ODAO and will be bankless. And will, like Bankless, be running mini pools on his ODAO machine. I think the math might be wrong, that he'll need 1750 RPL ODAO bound, plus a minimum of 10% for each mini pool that he's running. In the second, Maso got a freaking awesome shout out. In that segment, I learned that I've been mispronouncing his name, Marcy at you. So Sasal is famous for like butchering pronunciations of people's names, and he's, I think, featured Maso like 5 or 6 times now. Oh no, I think 4 times on the Daily Gwei now, and every time he does a different pronunciation that's just as horrible as before. So or even worse than before. Today was definitely the worst one yet. So let's see. And then we had a bit of a discussion going on about some of that, and then Sasal says, correct me if I'm wrong, but what I meant here was that I was going to unstake whatever I didn't need as a minimum on my mini pool. So if I borrow 1750 to get my ODAM membership started, the total stake will be 2850, 1750 plus the 1100 I already have staked. So that's what he was saying. And then I think Shifrin said, but you can only unstake RPL when your collateral is over 150%. So if you had 2,000 staked, you could only remove 500 today because 1,500 RPL staked is 150% collateral and 16 ETH. Unless what are you saying? I'm misreading. And then they had a bit of a back and forth discussion. Yeah, so Sasal comes back and says, so with my 1 mini pool right now, and you need 108 RPL, 101.8 RPL to be staked, and that's what it says in the command line interface when I type rocket pool node status. Silly me, staked 1100 RPL, basically all my holdings, so I can't unstake this until after the next reward period, as far as I know. So Mr. Sal was making some mistakes in his thinking, and people were kind of helping him understand just like where the mistakes were and what the issues with that were. So but I said add more mini pools, and then Sal came around and said, I didn't need to stake the 1,100 originally though. I just staked all of it for reasons. Don't know why, to be honest. So if I just stake the minimum requirement amount, that would be fine. Am I missing why I'm not able to remove the excess stake that wasn't required to stake in the first place? Yeah, so he has a misunderstanding of like where the 150% amount comes in. But yeah, everybody kind of talked it out, and I think yeah, Sal says, okay, so I think I understand now. Basically unlocking the ability to add more mini pools, which gets factored in. Well, I guess I'm spinning up more mini pools. So he's going to spin up more mini pools, I guess, which is cool. Okay, next we had this thing from Ramana and Bibop that said the ARB should be baked into the command line interface, which is something we've talked about a lot, and it might get added as a add-on container. And Ramana says, yeah, should. Nobody's working on it, however. And one guy and Fornax, is this true? By the time the GMC can offer a grant, the premium might be gone. And then Ramana says, if you have the ETH to spare, it's not a bad idea. Oh, wait, let me just find out what Fornax says. Yeah, Fornax says, I started trying to implement it inside the Smartnode, but halted on mentions that it should be an add-on instead of directly tied to the official node. Not working on it right now. So I guess nobody's actually working on integrating the Rocket Arb as an add-on onto the Smartnode stack. But that's not an issue for Despair. However, because of Popash's Dockerization of it, it's made it a lot easier to run the code now. So I think there's only like 2 or 3 commands that you need to do to run it, which will make it a lot easier. But yeah, we were really hoping that it would get added onto the Smartnode stack as an add-on. But I guess we're not there, and we might not be there for a while yet. So that's something to keep in mind. But yeah, like still, it's still quite easy for you to run it now. Okay, next we have this thing from Joe. He says, good news, everyone. So we're going to be talking about the Proteus now. He said, I got the damn activity LED to work. So there was an issue with the circuit design that was meant that the LED light on the front of the case wasn't working properly. So Joe was able to rig that all up, so it's all working now. And then he says, also for Proteus fans, I found viable solutions for triggering the power LED plus fan on machine start. So that's good. He's like, he says, turns out a single MOSFET isn't enough to switch a 5-volt supply with a 3.3 volt logic. Gotta go with full power switch IC. So there's some technical stuff there that I don't understand. Next says LEB migration testing. So we already covered that. He says Proteus making a lot of progress. Family's just done with COVID. Today is a good day, which is really great to see. And then finally, this is really exciting. Joe tagged Sleety, and he says, I may need your help rendering stuff. I'm getting ready to open up Proteus pre-orders, which is really exciting. I don't know what price point Joe is setting for that, but I'm fairly sure it'll be under $500 or in that area, which is absolutely fantastic when you consider that a fully kitted up like NUC can cost between $700 to $1,000. There are other options that you can get for less, but I think this is going to be a really great machine for the community, especially since it will have like software on it to begin with. Next, we had this a code that the Patches shared, and I didn't know what I was looking at. He just said, holy shit, it works. And then Lee says, you'll have to explain what I'm looking at so I can be happy with you. And Fitz says, are you excited that you can query it or the result you got? And then Patches explains, so he's talking about the rescue node here. He says, okay, so the rescue node's custom proxy needs to be able to restart quickly. Unfortunately, it takes around 2 minutes to start up. The query and query the chain for all the nodes, their smoothing pool status, and the fee recipients. So I built a caching abstraction into it that just uses a SQLite database, which means startup is now much faster because we have the data already. However, disk is slow, and we don't want to have to query disk every time we need to check a feed distributor or a smart smoothing pool status for a given node. So the SQLite database has to be in memory, which means it isn't on disk, so we lose the startup speed again. So I finagled it to serialize the DB to start DB to disk on shutdown and load it back into memory on startup. This query shows that the serialization part works. I spent 5 hours doing this. So Patch is doing great work on the rescue node, and then he had another post here with the GitHub. Seems like about Prism. So basically there's some Prism issues with getting it set up on the rescue node. So Patches is trying to figure that out as well, but it might be some time before that happens. So he says code is getting merged though. They're adding the missing validator HTTP handlers, digging into reverse proxying gRPC. It may not even be possible to tack our authentication method on. I'll probably revise the grant proposal tech spec to say Prism will be supported when they finish adding HTTPS VC support. So that's something to keep, that Patches is working on, that he needs Prism to do before he can carry on with it. So next we had this interesting idea that maybe can become a bounty at some point. This is good of you to be, and then Lee was like educating people and like making videos, which is really cool. And Sneaky says, good of you to be figuring out that while things are operating normally, I definitely need some further education in this area as well. Would be awesome to have an emergency documentation to walk through what node operators should do in the event of their node becoming compromised. And then Lee says, this is an amazing idea. I'm going to CC Wack Attack on the idea. Maybe he can mention it on Rocket Fuel and someone can put that together. I think it would be very valuable. The oh shit playbook. So if someone wants to put this together of like, what to do if your node gets compromised and all the different situations in which it can get compromised, I guess that's ranging from, private key theft to actual hardware theft if someone breaks into your house, etc. Maybe that can be a bounty. We can set like 10, 20 something RPL tokens for someone to like write a guide of what to do in that situation. I think that would be a good bounty to fund. Okay, I said, hey everyone, I just distributed the CoinApp listing POAP created by Criminal Noodle. If you feel you should have gotten this POAP but did not get it, please reach out to him. You can see the beautiful POAP here, and then there's a link to the POAP website. Here's a POAP, so it's a GIF POAP. It's this Coinbase RPL listing, and then there's the 8th of December, and the ratio at that point, which is 0.0159835, and then 36 people have gotten this POAP already, Criminal Noodle has some claim links if you feel like you should have gotten it. So it says the whole of Rocket Pool community was excited for RPL to get listed on Coinbase. This is the POAP that commemorates trading going live on. Wait, hold on. Yeah, this is commemorates trading going live on Coinbase. The POAP was sent to those who gave the emoji reaction I to agree I for this POAP to be chosen. The POAP was designed by Criminal Noodle and was distributed by Wack Attack. So CoinNoodle still has some codes. If you put an eye on that POAP but didn't get the mint code, then reach out to Criminal Noodle. Kevster says, what did you have to do to get it? And because he was around in trading at the time, so I said, it was only for people who reacted with the eye. So go back to Criminal Noodle and talk to him. Okay, next we have this comment from Phil Cares, which is really great. So he says, let me just read it out. He says, the other day I talked to the Benefactor about an idea. He gave me 5 RPL to give out to people in need at my hometown. So I got 10 times 10 euros, took a friend with me, and went on spreading some love to others beyond the Rocket Pool world. We gave 10 euros to each homeless person that wanted to go back to Slovakia to see his family for Christmas, bought a newspaper from the ones who gather for the poor, and an old lady with her dog, and an Italian grandpa, both homeless. Amnesty International bought candles and donated for people buying heaters for Ukrainian people suffering from the war, some to the local church, a dog rescue team with a lovely good boy, and 20 euros to the local hospital for children. Thank you all, especially Benefactor, for making this possible. So the Benefactor obviously gave a lot of money to people in the Rocket Pool community. However, some people were using that money for other things. So I'm so happy that Phil Cares did such a great job with distributing some of the RPL. It was absolutely great. And then Fizz commented as well, saying, "This is the genuine giving that makes the world a better place. Thank you so much." And Takezo says, "That's awesome, man. Love to hear this." And I love to hear this as well. It's absolutely fantastic. So thank you so much, Phil Cares. Thank you to the Benefactor for giving out that money. And yeah, it's really awesome things that are happening with it. Also, in that spirit, the Benefactor gave me 20 RPL tokens, and I think I'm going to pass that along as well. I'm not sure if I'm going to pass that along in the Rocket Pool community or whether I'll do some real life giving with that, but at the moment that's like $400, so I'll think of a good way to pass that along as well. So yeah, thank you to the Benefactor. Okay, Fizz, I shared this on Friday's episode, but Fizz shared this link. The staking survey will inform the Ethereum Foundation of the typical setup for staking operators. It's great for Rocket Pool node operators to represent themselves in the census. I hope you'll participate and encourage, even urge others to do the same. And the survey is going to finish on December 20th, so you've only got a couple of days now to get that in. So I encourage you to do that ASAP. Okay, next we had this interesting price action take place on the Coinbase exchange. So the prices have been kind of hovering around like the low 20s or high 19s since the price settled on Coinbase a few days ago. But yesterday morning we had this huge spike all the way up to $30, and then another spike all the way up to like $27. So if you have a look at the volume here, it was on around 1,000 RPL of volume, which is like hugely more than any other like candles we've had so far. So if people had like some sells set up at these high prices, you could have sold maybe up to a 50% profit. So it's some really interesting price action going on here that people were talking about in trading. And I think let me see, yeah, $24. So SB says nice Coinbase pump, and it's gone. So basically it was a really quick pump and dump, but not really a dump. I guess it just went back to like it was arbed away maybe and went back to like its price on exchanges. And yeah, it was, people were kind of talking about that for a while. There was Jasper who had some sell setup and some buy setup that both hit because of this. So it worked out really nicely for him. But it's definitely something to keep in mind that, you know, if a moderate sized entity comes in and like just market buys on Coinbase, there's scope for getting like some nice wicks that are like basically 50% up. So that's really cool. Okay, that's that. And then finally, I wanted to finish with this thing that everyone in trading was talking about last night for a few hours, which is chessboxing. There was a link to chessboxing and people watching it, and it's basically, chess is one of the favorite pastimes of trading, and chessboxing is when you are playing chess and boxing kind of alternately, and it's quite intense. So trading was watching that and they had a whole lot of fun with that, and yeah, there was a lot of commentary going on about that. So if you want to go back and have a look, maybe you can even like watch the fight. There was a Russian grandmaster called Dina who fought against the chess influencer, like streamer person, Proteus, and the consensus in trading was that it was stolen from Proteus. Like the referee was just a horrible referee. But on that note, I'm going to end the episode here. I hope you all have had a lovely weekend, and we are getting closer to the 100th episode, which most likely will be recorded on Monday next week. So I'm going to I'm going to go through my wallet and find out all the donations that I've had and add it all up and amend the raffle with the date that will be next Monday, and all the prizes there as well. So yeah, the 100th episode is exciting. It'll be here next Monday. So have a great week, everyone. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.